Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding inside your pocket change. If you love Abraham Lincoln steel penny coin
First up, the
collecting, 1943 D Lincoln steel penny is one of the most famous coins in American history. It was made during World War II when copper was needed for military use, so the United States Mint produced pennies using zinc-coated steel instead of the traditional bronze. These steel cents have a bright silver color when new, but over the years, most of them have turned gray, and sometimes even show signs of rust or corrosion because of the metal composition. The 1943 pennies were made at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver Mint coins are identified by a small D mint mark just below the date on the front of the coin. If your coin shows this D mark, it means it was struck in Denver. The 1943 D Lincoln penny is magnetic, unlike most other pennies. This is an easy way to confirm it's a real steel cent. Simply place a magnet near it, and if it sticks, you know it's authentic steel. It should also weigh around 2.7 grams, which is lighter than the older copper pennies that weigh about 3.11 grams. The design on the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat ears on the reverse, which is why these coins are often called wheat pennies. In good condition, a 1943 D steel penny usually shows noticeable wear. The word Liberty might be faded, and Lincoln's hair and coat details are worn smooth, but the date and mint mark remain visible. In coin grading terms, this level of wear is considered good or G4 condition. Although this coin is historic, it's not rare in circulated condition. Millions were produced, and many still exist today because people saved them as curiosities once they noticed they were made of a different metal. Because of the high number of surviving examples, the typical 1943 D steel penny in good condition doesn't bring a big price in the current market. Most coin dealers and collectors value these coins between 5 cents and $1. Some examples that are in slightly better shape or have an attractive silvery surface might sell for $2 or $3, but a heavily circulated one rarely goes for more than that. These are still fun collector pieces, but they aren't worth a fortune unless they have a major error or are in exceptional mint state condition. Sometimes, people hear about 1943 pennies selling for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, but those are not the regular steel cents. The extremely valuable versions are the 1943 bronze or copper pennies that were struck by mistake on leftover copper planchets from 1942. Those rare errors are worth 6 figures, but they are different in both appearance and composition. The genuine 1943 D steel penny is magnetic, while the rare copper error is not. So if your coin sticks to a magnet, it's not the rare bronze type. That magnet test is a simple way to avoid confusion and scams. It's also common to find sellers online claiming their 1943 D steel penny is worth thousands. Many of those claims are exaggerated or false. Unscrupulous sellers often list ordinary coins at inflated prices to attract attention. Before you buy or sell any coin, it's best to compare prices from trustworthy sources like the PCGS Price Guide, NGC Coin Values, or completed sales from reputable auction houses. A real 1943 D steel cent in good condition is a collectible curiosity, but not a rare treasure. If you suspect your coin might be special, for example, if it looks copper-colored or appears to have an unusual surface, you can have it tested or authenticated by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you exactly what metal it's made of and assign an official grade, which determines its value. For most people, though, a 1943 D steel penny is an affordable piece of history rather than a high-value rarity. The story behind this coin is what truly makes it fascinating. During World War II, every bit of copper was essential for making ammunition, shell casings, and communication wires for the U.S. military. To conserve resources, the mint temporarily used steel planchets coated in zinc. However, The public disliked the change because the new pennies rusted easily and were sometimes mistaken for dimes. As a result, in 1944, the mint switched back to using copper alloys made from recycled shell casings. That short one-year experiment created one of the most talked-about coins ever made. Next up, the 1920 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is part of the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958. This coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the classic reddish-brown tone that older wheat pennies are known for. On the front, or obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor D. Brenner, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1920 on the right. Because there is no mint mark under the date, it means your coin was minted in Philadelphia. The reverse side features two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and the motto E pluribus unum. In 1920, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 310 million wheat pennies, which was a very large mintage for that era. This means the 1920 Lincoln cent is not rare, and many examples still survive today, especially in lower circulated grades like good or fine condition. However, it remains a desirable coin for collectors who want to build a full Lincoln cent set. Since it represents the early years of the wheat penny series, your coin is described as being in good condition, which means it has seen significant circulation and wear. On a coin in this grade, Lincoln's portrait is still visible but very worn and flattened. The date and lettering can be read clearly, but finer details such as Lincoln's hair and coat lines are mostly smooth. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are worn but still outline the coin's famous wheat ears design. Minor scratches or marks are completely normal for a coin that has been in use for over a century. In today's collector market, a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition is typically valued between 0.15 and 0.30 USD. Dealers may offer around 10 to 20 cents if the coin shows heavy wear or discoloration, while more attractive brown examples with even surfaces can bring closer to 30 or 40 cents. The value doesn't change much unless the coin is in a higher grade like extremely fine or uncirculated, where prices can climb into the $2 to $10 range. Although the coin's value in dollars is modest, its historical and collectible importance makes it worth holding on to. The 1920 penny was minted just after World War I, during a time of major economic and social change in the United States. Each coin from that period carries a little piece of American history, copper cents, that passed through countless hands over the last 100 years. If your coin has a few small scratches, that's typical for circulated examples and doesn't drastically affect its worth. It's best to avoid cleaning or polishing it, since cleaning can remove the original surface and lower its collector appeal. Keeping the coin in a dry, protective holder or coin flip will help preserve it and prevent further damage or corrosion. To sum up, your 1920 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in good condition with a few scratches, is worth roughly 0.15 to 0.30 USD in today's market. While it's not a rare or high-value coin, it remains an appealing collectible due to its age, classic wheat design, and the enduring popularity of the Lincoln Cent series among coin enthusiasts. Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and it is one of the most recognizable coins from World War II. During that year, the U.S. Mint changed the penny's composition from copper to zinc-coated steel because copper was needed for wartime materials like bullets and electrical wiring. This change gave the coin its distinctive grayish-silver color and magnetic properties. The 1943 steel pennies were struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but only the Denver and San Francisco coins have mint marks. The Philadelphia Mint coins, like yours, do not have any mint mark under the date. The coin you have, a 1943 Lincoln steel penny without a mint mark, is made of low-grade carbon steel coated with zinc to prevent rust. Over time, the zinc coating on many of these coins has worn off, leaving some areas dull or even rusted. The design features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust Liberty," and the date, 1943. On the reverse side, you'll find the wheat ears design with the words, "1 cent United States of America," and "E pluribus unum." Because these coins were mass-produced and saved by collectors, they are still quite common today. When we talk about fine condition, it means the coin has moderate wear from circulation but still shows most of its major details clearly. On your coin, Lincoln's face, hair, and coat might be worn but visible, and the lettering is easy to read. The wheat ears on the back are partly flattened but still identifiable. Minor surface marks or scratches are typical for circulated coins of this age and generally do not affect the basic value much unless they are severe. In today's coin market, a 1943 steel penny without a mint mark, in fine condition, is valued quite modestly because so many of these coins were produced and survived. Around 684 million of them were made at the Philadelphia Mint, making it one of the highest mintages in the Lincoln Cent series. Due to this large supply, the average collector can find them easily, and their price remains low compared to rarer varieties. The typical market value for a 1943 Philadelphia steel penny in fine condition is between $100 and $500 USD. Some dealers might offer a little more, up to about $1, if the coin still has its original silvery luster or minimal rust. However, a piece with scratches or dull gray color usually falls on the lower end of that range. These coins are inexpensive, but remain a favorite among beginner collectors because of their unique wartime history and magnetic property. It's important to know that only rare error versions of this coin, such as the 1943 copper penny, are worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those were accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets from 1942 and are extremely scarce. Your steel penny is the standard type, and while not rare, it's still an interesting collectible. Many people mistake the regular steel pennies for the valuable copper ones, but a simple magnet test helps confirm the difference. If your coin sticks to a magnet, it's a normal steel cent. If it does not stick, it might be worth further examination. Collectors recommend keeping steel pennies in a dry place or protective holder since moisture can cause rust spots over time. If your coin already has small scratches or surface wear, avoid cleaning it, as cleaning can reduce its collector value. A naturally aged coin is always preferred to one that has been polished or scrubbed. Even though its monetary value is small, your 1943 Lincoln steel penny without a mint mark is a genuine piece of American wartime history. It tells the story of how the U.S. Mint adapted to material shortages during World War II. Many people still treasure these coins as a symbol of that era. So while its current market price is modest, generally less than $1 for a fine condition example with a few scratches, the historical and sentimental value makes it well worth keeping in your collection. Next up, the 1929 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. It is part of the classic Lincoln Wheat Cent series that ran from 1909 to 1958. This coin was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that rich reddish-brown color that collectors love. The year 1929 falls in the pre-Depression era, and despite its age, the coin is not considered rare because the Philadelphia Mint produced a large number of them, over 185 million pieces. That means it's fairly common to find these coins even today, though condition plays an important role in determining their value. Your coin is described as being in very fine VF condition. That means it shows moderate wear but still retains strong details. On the obverse, Lincoln's cheek and jaw may show some smoothing, but most of his hair and facial features are visible. The lettering, date, and rims remain sharp. On the reverse, the wheat stalks still have most of their lines visible, though slightly worn near the tops. A few light scratches or marks are common for a circulated coin of this age and usually don't lower the value significantly unless they are deep or distracting. In today's coin market, a 1929 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in very fine condition, typically sells for around $25 to $75 USD. Some dealers might pay up to $1.41 for an attractive example with smooth surfaces and minimal discoloration. However, if your coin has several scratches, dull spots, or uneven toning, it may trade closer to the lower end of that range. Higher-grade examples, such as those in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, can sell for $2 to $5 or more, depending on the market and color quality. Red, red-brown, or brown tones. Although not a rare or high-value penny, the 1929 wheat cent still holds great historical significance. It was minted during the final year before the Great Depression began, making it a small but tangible piece of American history. Many collectors include it in their wheat penny sets because it represents an important period in both numismatic and national history. If your coin has a few small scratches, that's perfectly normal for a circulated piece that has been handled over nearly a century. It's best not to clean the coin, as cleaning removes its natural surface patina and can decrease its collector appeal. Simply store it in a coin flip, holder, or small plastic sleeve to protect it from further damage.
Next up, the 1955 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with D. Mint mark is a beautiful and historic coin that carries a strong sense of America's past. This small copper piece was minted at the Denver Mint in 1955, during a time when the United States was experiencing post-war prosperity and rapid development. Though it was made in huge quantities for everyday use, every surviving piece tells a unique story of history, craftsmanship, and circulation. Your coin, which is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches, still reflects the charm of an era when the penny truly mattered in everyday life. Turning the coin over, the reverse side displays the classic wheat ears design that gives this coin series its name. The wheat penny. Two curved stalks of wheat frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them appears the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many. 1. This design, also created by Victor David Brenner, symbolizes growth, strength, and unity. It was used from 1909 until 1958, after which the Lincoln Memorial design replaced it. In very fine condition, your coin's wheat stalks will still show much of their shape, though the highest details may be softly worn. The simple yet elegant design represents the ideals of the early and mid-20th century. Reminder of a time when the penny held greater purchasing power and a deep connection to the nation's values. The 1955D Lincoln wheat penny was struck using the standard bronze composition of the time, made up of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish-brown tone, which often darkens with age due to oxidation and handling. The D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver, Colorado, one of 3 U.S. mints in operation at the time. In 1955, the Denver Mint produced an impressive total of about 563 million Lincoln cents. Because of this large mintage, the 1955D penny is not considered rare, but it is still highly collectible among those who enjoy completing full sets of wheat cents from every date and mint mark. While the 1955 Lincoln penny from Philadelphia became famous for its rare double die error, the Denver version is best known for being one of the cleanest and most reliable strikes of the year. Collectors often seek out the 1955D coin in higher grades because it shows good detail and attractive color when preserved well. In very fine condition, your coin would show moderate wear on Lincoln's face and coat, light flattening on the wheat ears, and some small nicks or scratches that come from normal circulation. Even so, it remains an appealing collectible because of its balanced look and solid detail. When evaluating a coin's worth, its condition plays a major role. Collectors use grading systems that range from poor all the way to mint state, where no signs of circulation are visible. Since your coin is in very fine condition, it falls somewhere in the middle of the grading scale. The value of a 1955D Lincoln wheat penny in today's collector market is generally between 10 and 20 cents in this condition. If it were in extra fine condition with slightly less wear, it could be worth up to 50 cents. Uncirculated examples with bright red color and no scratches can bring prices from $1 to $3, or even more if graded by a professional service. Even though the coin's market value may seem small, its historical value is far greater. This penny circulated during a fascinating period in American history, when cars were becoming common, television was rising in popularity, and families were beginning to dream of a modern future. A coin like this would have passed through countless hands, perhaps used to buy candy, postage stamps, or a newspaper. Each small scratch tells part of that story, making your 1955D penny more than just an object. It's a time traveler from mid-20th century. America, the Lincoln Wheat Penny series remains one of the most beloved collections among coin enthusiasts because it combines artistic design, historical importance, and accessibility. Even beginners can find affordable examples of these coins and feel a connection to America's past. The 1955D penny, though not rare, holds a special place in this series because of its link to the famous 1955 double die, and because it was one of the last few years before the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959.
Next up, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, one of 3 mints that struck Lincoln cents that year. This coin belongs to the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, designed by Victor D. Brenner, and made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The obverse side features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1937 on the right. Since there is no mint mark, that means your coin was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse side displays 2 wheat stalks on either side of the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. In 1937, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 309 million Lincoln wheat pennies, which makes this coin relatively common in the collector market. However, condition and eye appeal still matter greatly when determining its value. You mentioned that your coin is in extra fine condition, which is a solid mid-grade for a circulated coin. In this grade, the coin still shows clear and crisp details. Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat are lightly worn but remain well-defined. The lettering and rims are sharp, and the reverse wheat stalks have most of their lines visible. A few light scratches or contact marks from circulation are normal and do not significantly reduce the value as long as they're not deep or distracting. In today's market, a 1937 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition is worth around 0.35 to 1 Andrews Deutsch USD. The exact value depends on the coin's color, whether it is brown, red-brown, or still has traces of its original red luster, and how appealing it looks overall. Examples with a bit of original reddish shine and smooth surfaces can sometimes bring up to $2.50, while those with noticeable scratches, dull color, or minor spots usually stay closer to the lower end of the price range. Although the 1937 penny is not rare, it is an excellent example of a pre-World War II U.S. coin. It represents a time when America was still recovering from the Great Depression, and pennies like this were used daily by millions of people. Many collectors today value these coins not only for their copper content, but also for their historical importance. If your coin has a few scratches, it's best to leave it as it is. Cleaning or polishing a copper coin often removes its natural patina and can significantly reduce its collector value. The slight imperfections are part of its character and help tell its story. Keeping it stored in a protective coin holder or sleeve will help prevent further wear or oxidation. Even though the 1937 wheat penny from the Philadelphia Mint isn't rare or extremely valuable, it's still a meaningful collectible. Its typical retail value in extra fine condition remains around 0.35 to 1.00 USD, depending on eye appeal. It's an affordable and classic piece of U.S. coinage history, cherished by Lincoln cent enthusiasts and coin collectors for its age, craftsmanship, and connection to America's past.
Next up, the 1953 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with D mint. Mark is another fascinating mid-century coin that carries both historical and collectible value. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small d located just below the date on the obverse side. Your coin, described as being in brown color shade, in good condition with some scratches, is a well-circulated example that still holds. Charm and character for collectors of vintage U.S. coinage. On the reverse side, the coin displays the classic wheat ears design, which gives this series its popular nickname. The wheat penny, two stylized stalks of wheat curve around the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions appears the Latin motto, a pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. The wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and hard work, fitting themes for mid-20th century America. In good condition, as with your coin, much of the finer detail in the wheat ears may be worn smooth, but the overall design remains distinct and recognizable. The 1953D wheat penny was produced during the post-World War II economic boom, a time when the United States was experiencing rapid growth, technological innovation, and renewed optimism. Coins like your 1953D circulated widely during the Eisenhower era, changing hands in grocery stores, diners, and drive-in theaters across the country. They served not just as money, but as tiny symbols of an energetic and prosperous America. From a technical standpoint, the 1953D penny was struck from the standard 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy used for most Lincoln cents of that era. The Denver Mint produced a substantial number of them, approximately 700,515,000 coins, making this date fairly common in circulation. However, well-preserved examples are still desirable among collectors, especially those with full details and original luster. Your coin's brown color shade is typical for older wheat pennies. Copper coins naturally oxidize over time, turning from bright red when new to darker shades of red-brown or chocolate brown as the metal reacts with the air. This natural toning doesn't reduce the coin's historical value. In fact, it adds authenticity and visual appeal, showing its age gracefully. Because your coin is in good condition, it shows noticeable wear from years of handling. Lincoln's portrait may appear worn and flat, and some lettering could be faint, but the overall design remains clear. The small scratches are normal for a circulated coin of this age and simply reflect its long journey through American pockets and cash registers. When it comes to market value, the 1953D Lincoln wheat penny is considered common, but still collectible, especially for enthusiasts assembling complete date and mint mark sets. In good condition, like yours, the coin is typically valued between 5 cents and 10 cents. In fine to very fine condition, it can bring around 10 cents to 20 cents, while extra fine examples often sell for 25 cents to 50 cents. Uncirculated mint state coins with original red color and strong luster can reach $300 to $800 or more. depending on grade and eye appeal, although not rare or high in monetary value. Your 1953D wheat penny holds significant historical and sentimental worth. It represents the final years of the beloved wheat cent design, which ended in 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. Collectors often cherish these coins as tangible reminders of America's mid-century optimism, craftsmanship, and continuity. Next up, the 1934 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny. Without mint mark is a fascinating and historically rich coin from the early years of the Great Depression. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, this penny carries no mint mark, which is standard for Philadelphia issues of that era. Your coin, described as being in very fine condition with some scratches, is a wonderful collectible piece, not just for its age and design, but also for the story it represents about America's strength and perseverance during difficult times. Turning to the reverse side, you'll find the classic wheat ears design, which gives this coin its popular nickname, the Wheat Penny II. Stylized stalks of wheat curve gracefully around the central inscriptions. 1 cent and United States of America above these words is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. In very fine condition, your coin's wheat stalks are still clear and well-defined, although some inner lines may be lightly worn from years of use, despite a few scratches. The 1934 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted during a crucial time in American history, just a few years after the worst years of the Great Depression. President Franklin D. Roosevelt had recently launched the New Deal, a series of programs to rebuild the nation's economy. Millions of Americans were struggling, and yet, coins like your 1934 penny continued to circulate daily, symbolizing the resilience of ordinary citizens. For many people, a single penny could still buy a piece of candy, contribute to a newspaper purchase, or even go into savings for future needs. Every coin mattered, and your 1934 penny was part of that era's daily life. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 219,080,000 wheat pennies in 1934. While this was a large number, it marked a recovery in coin production after several years of reduced minting during the early Depression. Because of this, the 1934 penny is not rare, but finding one in very fine condition like yours makes it a desirable collectible, especially among enthusiasts who appreciate early 20th century U.S. coinage. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich reddish-brown tone when freshly minted. Over time, copper reacts with the air and develops a natural patina, often deepening into shades of brown or reddish chocolate color. Your coin's very fine condition means it shows moderate wear from circulation, but still retains much of its original sharpness and charm. The scratches are normal for a coin that has been in use for over 90 years, and only add to its authenticity when it comes to today's collector market. The value of a 1934 Lincoln Wheat penny depends primarily on condition and color. In good condition, the coin is usually worth around 5 to 10 cents. In fine condition, that value can rise to 10 to 20 cents. Your coin, being in very fine condition, typically sells for around 25 to 50 cents, depending on eye appeal and toning. Coins that are extra fine or uncirculated, especially those retaining their original red luster, can command $100 to $300 or more. Professionally graded high-end examples can bring even higher prices, particularly for bright red specimens that have been well preserved, although it's not a rare coin. The 1934 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny carries immense historical significance. It represents a period when America was recovering from economic hardship, rebuilding industries, and looking toward a more hopeful future. Holding this coin is like holding a piece of that resilience, a small reminder of the everyday lives and struggles of Americans during one of the most defining decades of the 20th century. even with some scratches. Your coin tells a genuine story. Imagine how many hands it may have passed through, perhaps used by a worker during the New Deal projects, spent at a corner store, or saved in a child's piggy bank during the 1930s. Every mark and worn surface reflects its long journey through American history. First up, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with D mint mark is a classic coin from America's pre-World War II era, carrying both historical charm and collector appeal. Struck at the Denver Mint. The small D mark beneath the date distinguishes it from those minted in Philadelphia or San Francisco. Your coin, described as being in fine condition with some scratches, still holds plenty of collectible value, not only as a vintage piece of U.S. coinage, but also as a window into American history during the late 1930s. On the obverse side, the coin proudly features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth, this portrait remains one of the longest-running designs in U.S. history. Across the top curve of the coin reads, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln's bust is the word Liberty, and to the right appears the date, 1937, followed by the small D mint mark, confirming that this penny was minted in Denver, Colorado. In fine condition, Lincoln's portrait remains recognizable, with moderate wear on the high points of his hair and face, and the legends around the rim are still sharp. The scratches you mentioned are typical for coins of this age, and are simply part of the coin's long journey through circulation. Flipping the coin to the reverse, you'll find the famous wheat ears design, which gives this series its popular name, the Wheat Penny, too stylized. Stalks of wheat frame the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The top is the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one on your coin. The wheat stalks are likely worn smooth near the center, but remain visible around the outer edges, showing the beauty of Brenner's simple yet elegant design. Even with some surface scratches, the reverse of the 1937 D penny carries a warm, aged copper tone that collectors love. The 1937 D Wheat Penny was struck during a time of slow recovery from the Great Depression. The U.S. Mint produced a large number of pennies that year, as America's economy began to stabilize and industries revived. The Denver Mint alone issued approximately 50,430,000 of these coins, a sizable mintage for the time, meaning they're not extremely rare today. However, they remain highly collectible because of their pre-war history, solid craftsmanship, and their role in the enduring Lincoln Cent series. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional composition used for most Lincoln cents until 1943. Over the years, copper coins naturally change color. They might darken to brown or reddish-brown tones, or develop natural spots and dull patches from handling and exposure. Your coin's fine condition suggests it has circulated for many years, showing moderate wear across Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks, with light scratches adding character rather than detracting from its story. In the late 1930s, this 1 cent coin could buy a piece of candy, a newspaper, or contribute to a movie ticket, small luxuries that many Americans treasured as the economy improved. Every 1937 penny that survives today serves as a tangible link to that period of hope and rebuilding, when Americans were slowly regaining confidence after years of hardship. When it comes to collector value, the 1937 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is affordable but appreciated for its history and design. In good condition, it typically sells for around $30,000 in fine condition. Like yours, its value usually ranges between 10 and 20 cents, depending on the coin's eye appeal and the depth of color. In very fine or extremely fine condition, the value can rise to 30 to 60 cents. Higher-grade examples in uncirculated condition with original red luster can sell for $200 to $500. while top-graded red specimens certified by PCGS or NGC can bring $100 to $250 or more, even though your 1937 D penny isn't particularly rare. Its charm lies in its age, authenticity, and connection to American history. The scratches and surface marks simply show that this coin has done its job, circulating through the hands of ordinary Americans for decades. Perhaps it was used in small shops, given as change during the Depression era, or tucked away by someone who noticed its date and decided to save it. Next up, the 1940 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with an S, mint mark, is a treasured piece of early 20th century American coinage and a fine example of the artistry and craftsmanship that defined U.S. coins of that era. Minted at the San Francisco Mint. This coin carries the small S mark just below the date on the obverse side, identifying it as one of the coins struck on the West Coast. Your coin, described as being in extra fine condition with some scratches, remains a lovely and collectible specimen from a time when copper pennies held real value in everyday life. On the front side, or obverse, the coin proudly features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. This design first appeared in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and became one of the most enduring and respected designs in U.S. coin history. Around the portrait, the inscriptions read, "In God We Trust" along the top, "Liberty" to the left of Lincoln's image, and the date 1940 with a small S mint mark just beneath it on the right side, in extra fine condition. Your coin still shows excellent detail. The lines in Lincoln's hair are visible, his facial features are well defined, and most of the lettering remains sharp and legible. You might notice minor flattening on the highest points, such as Lincoln's cheek and jawline, but overall, the coin maintains a strong visual appeal. The small scratches you mentioned are normal for a coin that is circulated, adding authenticity and character to this historical piece. The reverse side of the coin displays the classic wheat ears design, which gives this series its famous nickname, the wheat penny. On this side, two tall stalks of wheat curve along the edges, framing the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, you'll find the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many. 1. The wheat ears represent growth, prosperity, and the agricultural strength of America, fitting symbols for the country's recovery during the years leading up to World War II. In extra fine condition. Your coin's reverse still shows much of the fine detail in the wheat stalks, and the lettering remains crisp. The brown or reddish tone of the copper gives it a rich, antique appearance, a natural result of oxidation and age that enhances its vintage charm. The 1940s Lincoln wheat penny was struck from the standard 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy used for most Lincoln cents before the 1980s. The San Francisco Mint produced 112,940,000 coins that year, making it relatively common in circulated grades. Though well-preserved examples like yours are always in demand among collectors historically. The year 1940 was an interesting time in America. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression, and World War II was raging in Europe. Though the United States had not yet entered the war, the economy was shifting toward defense production, and coins like this one were part of everyday commerce, buying groceries, stamps, and morning newspapers. Every Lincoln penny from this era is a small reminder of the resilience and determination that defined the American spirit at the dawn of a new decade. When it comes to market value, the 1940s wheat penny remains a popular collectible. In extra fine condition, like your coin, it is typically valued between 25 cents and 50 cents in today's coin market. Coins in uncirculated condition can fetch anywhere from $1 to $3 or more. especially those with original red or red-brown luster. Even though your coin may have a few light scratches, its overall preservation still makes it appealing to both new and experienced collectors, beyond its modest dollar value. The 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny holds great historical and sentimental value. It connects us to a generation that lived through economic hardship and witnessed dramatic global changes. Each coin from this era is a small time capsule, a silent witness to history that has survived more than 8 decades. Your coin's extra fine. Condition shows that it was well cared for and likely spent. Fewer years in circulation compared to heavily worn examples. The scratches are small traces of its long journey. Perhaps it passed through the hands of a factory worker, a shopkeeper, or a young child saving coins in a glass jar during the 1940s. Collectors appreciate coins like the 1940s, not only for their beauty, but also for what they represent: craftsmanship, resilience, and the everyday life of ordinary Americans. While modern pennies are mostly zinc and lack the warmth of copper, these early wheat cents carry a distinct charm and lasting value that newer coins simply don't have. In conclusion, your 1940 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with an S, mint mark, made of solid copper and preserved in extra fine condition with some scratches, is worth about 25 cents to 50 cents in today's market. Though it's a small coin, its historical value is immense. It's a proud reminder of America's strength, faith, and optimism on the eve of World War II. Every time you hold it, you're holding a piece of history, a simple penny that once carried the weight of a nation's hope and hard work.